Well, let's have a look at some other requests. We had quite a few, and John asks about Kruger Rand. Let's have a look at the Kruger Rand. I mean, that's a interesting instrument. It's not that liquid though. Don't find it a lot traded. I mean, I've seen some days maybe 4 coins or 3 coins traded, but I mean, there is people that's buying it. And if I look at it, John, um, this rounding bottom caught my eye a while. And look at it. There you are. Beautiful rounding bottom. And if I look at this chart, I actually like this chart. Remember, Kruger Rands are usually bought for a long period. Some people keep it in safekeeping. If you don't buy the Kruger Rand, of course, you can always buy new gold if you want to do that. But the Kruger Rand is quite liquid. But what I like about this, it looks like 3,000 Rand is becoming like a place where it consolidates. For me, it needs to get above this line now. And John, this is maybe your question. Can I chase the momentum? For me, if I see an instrument go from 26,500 to 30,000 in maybe a matter of 3-4 weeks, that's a big jump for me. So I will wait for this line to turn into a support before I will chase it. And there you are. It needs to get above 30,000. Then my next level will be 31,057 Rand. And maybe it can go even as high as 32,240 Rand on this chart. So for me, if I look at this chart with this beautiful rounding bottom, I would love it comes back to maybe that 2,850 level. And then if it starts to go up, then buy it. I think maybe a little bit late to buy it. And also, remember the Rand weakened a lot during the last couple of days. For me, I will probably wait for the Rand to go back a little bit, so strengthen. And then if the gold price can give me a little bit of a breather, Kruger Rand will probably also go down maybe to 2,850. And that's maybe the place, 28,550. That's the place to buy it. At the moment, I think you may be also a little bit late. Babu asked about Naspers. And I mean, for me, this is one of the shares that actually disappoints now. A lot of people say that it is trading at a huge discount. I was worried about this share a long time ago. And the reason why I was worried, because the share showed some interesting formations and made me worry. What do I see now? And I hope I'm completely wrong. Because if it trades at a discount, that means there's a lot of investors in the share waiting and hoping that this value unlock will take place. But look what I see here. I see a ugly head and shoulder formation. So it's almost the same, and I've repeated it so many times on the show. It's almost the same as Sasol. Can you remember I showed Sasol, thought it can go back to, I think, 180 or 140. It went to below 50 Rand. So I hope that I'm wrong here, but look at it. There's the left shoulder. There's the massive head. And we're looking at maybe brewing on a right shoulder here. And can you believe it? If I'm correct, I hope I'm actually wrong, because there's a lot of investors actually sitting on the share. If I look at that projection and I take it to the downside, for this formation to pay out, this wonderful company will go to 1,134 Rand. Can you believe that? I mean, that's almost insane. So let's hope I'm wrong. But Babu, if you want to buy it, I will only buy it above this right shoulder. If the right shoulder gets wiped out and the share wants to move up, and that's above 2,740 Rand, I will buy it. I'll make use of a stop loss of 2,373 Rand. And then I know that this ugly waterfall formation, look at this waterfall formation, can maybe turn around and give us a V reversal from this neckline. But really, we don't need to go below this neckline, because then this chart can actually become very negative. Well, let's have a look at another share. Steinhoff. Rashid is asking about Steinhoff. And his biggest fear is he doesn't want to see Steinhoff below 2 Rand. He says he's worried about Steinhoff if it's below 2 Rand. Now, let's have a look if Rashid is correct. Rashid, remember, we know now this company has also a lot of problems. Yes, what I do like is look at this beautiful rounding bottom. For me, Rashid, the clue actually lies here. For me, it's not a case of R2. For me, it's a case that this trend line mustn't break. And that trend line, by the way, is spot on at your level of R2. Beautiful call. Because this support line also keeps this beautiful, you can almost say rounding bottom in place. If that R2 turns into a resistance, that means that the share can actually go a little bit lower. And where's my target? There's a target, 194, 185, 180, and even as low as 159. But what I don't like about the share, look at this beautiful rally. And there's a classic example. This is a lamp pole formation. A lamp pole formation usually gets followed up by a waterfall formation. And that's why we need to wait for this line now. If R2 breaks, Rashid, I would rather than don't touch the share. But of course, we know that there's maybe a lot of traders that's keen on buying the share. And maybe wait at R2. If it bounces off this line, it can give you another level, a rally to the top. If you buy at R2, where's your stop loss? My stop loss will be at R1.81. And if it bounces above that R2, where's my targets? R2.04, R2.14, R2.17, R2.27, and maybe back to R2.42. But of course, this trend line must hold. If that trend line turns into a resistance, the chart will actually look ugly to me. Well, let's have a look at Kelvin's request. Kelvin is looking for a request on Growthpoint. Let's have a look at Growthpoint. There you are. I mean, the share had a nice correction here, Kelvin. It's still working on this massive base. We can maybe see, maybe I'm going to show it to you. After all the selling, we can maybe see a double bottom here. But what we can also see is the following. Head and shoulder. Although the right shoulder is very small here, there's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder, and below R12.87, we can maybe see the first target will be R12.42. You know by now the projection, it can take the share down to R10.98. So for me, Kelvin, I will not buy it unless I can see that this right shoulder there is taken out, and that is above R13.45. Above 13.45, yes, it's a different story. Then we can say we've seen a sold off, we've got a tiny double bottom, it breaks up, and then it can work itself all the way maybe up. There's a target, R14.04. So yes, if you buy it above that right shoulder, use a stop loss of R12.89 to protect your capital. I do not like this head and shoulder formation that I'm seeing here. Marty is asking about Jubilee. And I think she's a keen buyer on Jubilee, because that's one of those penny stocks that people love to buy. Jubilee Platinum. Marty, let's have a look here. Oh, what do I see? I see another head and shoulder here. Why do I say this market is warning us? Suddenly I'm getting nervous because the one chart of the other charts are telling us head and shoulder formation. So it's either going to see a beautiful bounce if all these right shoulders can be taken out. But I don't like what I'm seeing here. There's a left shoulder. There's a head. There's the right shoulder. Neckline is sitting at R3.32. I mean, if that neckline turns into a resistance, where can the share go to? And I mean, this is a favorite amongst the traders. There you are. If I do that projection, where can Jubilee go to? There you are. It can take it all the way down to that low there at around R2.75. So, Marty, for me, I'm a little bit nervous. So I will only buy it if that right shoulder there gets wiped off the table. That is buying it above 350 again. Make use of a stop loss of 332. And it can maybe work its way all the way up 370, 377, 382 and even 394. And what worries me here, Marty, is that the rand has been weakened for quite a while. And this share does not show that. This share actually say, listen, I don't want to go up unless this right shoulder gets wiped off the table. Let's have a look at Sizwe. Abu is asking about with Sizwe. Abu, let's have a look. And we can quickly see here. Share is trying to find its feet here. You can see, for me, momentum down. Yes, these little lower shadows tells me there's plenty. Lower shadows tell me that there is maybe some buyers around. So Tabu, for me, it's quite simple. I will say, let's do a nice resistance line here. There's the resistance line. If everybody is so keen on buying the share, and if all these lower shadows are correct, we can maybe see a little bounce above 127. So yes, buy above 127, make use of a stop loss of 110, and my targets will be 134, 136, 141, 146, and even as high as 160 if the share do give us a nice recovery here. The only thing that worries me with all these counters, especially those that are sensitive on the rand, is telling you that they not performing with the rand. And I would like to see that shares that loves a weakening rand might show me a little bit of oomph, and I do not see that. So, well, let's watch out and see what will happen. The market actually makes me a little bit nervous if I look at all these head and shoulder formations. In the meantime, watch our website www.fransklerk.com for more info, and we will chat again.